Juicy news coming your way, baby dolls. What's going on? We have the BetterBank exploiter handing back all the pDAI. Orchestration or what? You tell me. Charmly, what price does he think Ethereum is going to be by the end of this year? And where does he think it's going to be by the end of this few weeks? Coming up right into the US Fed. I've got more StableCoin SuperCycle stuff coming your way and more. And did CoinTelegraph get euphoric over a 5% Soylana move? All of that coming your way. I've got so much cranky G coming. This is the BTC monthly chart. Around the 111 or 112,000 dollars. BTC is really stalling out now, isn't it? Feels like the BTC favor is losing itself. It being the favorite. Now we're looking at meth. Meth is at $4,500. Better stock up on some of that. This is really going to kick off, I think, when Ethereum is at brand new all-time highs. We were hoping it was much earlier. We're just guessing every step of the way, right? Maybe by the end of it, when it's all said and done, you'll thank yourself for getting in early, even though right now getting early feels like an absolute painful scenario. Let's look at the ETH-BTC ratio as well, 0.04. I saw some Bitcoin Maxis friends. They're getting really salty. And what they've been saying is it actually is quite funny. They say that the real Bitcoin halvening is Ethereum's ratio halvening. So check it out. It has been halving, friends. It was, if you check it out here, 0.16. That was the ratio in 2017. And then 4 years later, it hits 0.08, right? And then if you go to where it hit now, it's like even worse, right? It goes down to 0.04. And then the halvening, right? 0.02. You see this around the Bitcoin halvening? It keeps going down from 16, 8, 4, 2. We'll see. We'll see that. I mean, just like they're starting from the top. Okay, why don't you start from when it was at 0? That's another thing to think about. It's because they're not long. Why don't you start down here? Why don't you start when it was 0.0003? Why do you have to do it? But that's pretty much, that's what happens, friends. Every single person out here, they're basically shitting their own bags. That's it. We'll play some pumpy G music for everyone. Everyone's shitting their bag. Everyone. Friends, whenever you hear someone, you also often hear someone says, "Oh, don't listen to that guy. He only wants to shill his bag." I go check your Twitter comments. Every single soy boy who does that. When you say that, I click on your Twitter profile and I see you shilling your bag. I check your comments. You go, "Oh, buy this token, buy that token." Doesn't matter where it's from. Doesn't matter if it's where it's from. Every single altcoin is the same thing. "Oh, that person just wants to shill their bags." Friends, you know what it is? It's literally the same as, okay, you go to a football game. Okay, let's say you go to an Arsenal-Liverpool game. Yeah, and you find someone with the Liverpool jersey, right? Like a red jersey, whatever it is. And you go to them and you say, "Hey, who do you think is going to win this match?" And they say, "Oh, I think we're going to win at 1-0. No. You just want to shill your team. You just want to shill your team. Man, it's some people get it, some people don't, By the way, go to Italy, go to some village in Italy, and say, "Oh, Senor, Mr. Italian man, you have a beautiful daughter. She is 18 years old. Who would you rather she marry?" And he will say, "Si, senor, I am Italiano. I want my daughter to marry an Italian man." No. You just want to shill your country, bro. That's exactly what the people are saying, friends. That's why you don't. You got to look at it and laugh. Now, BTC on the daily chart. BTC $111,000. Red on the daily. I'm going to go through some blockchain backer charts and some fractals, but we got to go through the most important stuff out here. So we're still cranking on through, friends. We got to get to this $10 trillion zone. I mean, a lot of people still say it's over soon. I just don't know, man. I can't believe in a world that it's over when crypto, dude, we're international. We're global. The president likes us, okay? We have StableCoin SuperCycle. They're growing to trillions, okay? The government loves Ethereum. World Liberty Finance is buying meth, okay? So, like, you have all of these things happening. Not only the US government, but all the other governments, they love stablecoins because it's their CBDC by the people, for the people. You know what I mean? It's CBDCs. They can put a smart contract functionality. They can get their stable coins. It lets them get their income first. Where people around the world can buy into the government fiat and basically give the money, and then it buys their bonds. Okay, it lets you directly. Okay, you get the stable coin, they have to go buy their bonds. They actually make laws where you go, hey, every dollar must buy our bonds, right? No Ponzi stuff. You got to buy our bonds. So like they're making sure that you have to buy their bonds, which basically means you give them a right to spend. They love it. You know, how can we just stop here, man? We gotta, like, friends, we're nowhere near mania, man. We're nowhere near mania. Like, I want to see a politician with a tattoo. You know, I want to see some wild, wacky stuff. I want all of these things to pop up. Friends, right now, I'm the Retardio bull, and everyone else is still skeptical. Okay, so what's a top gonna look like? Don't know if it's the top, but a topping zone is gonna look like this, friends. I'm just gonna wake up one day and I'm gonna say, who are all these imposters? Okay, you have all confused brains for a bull market. There seems to be demand for everything. You know this doesn't last forever. There's no way all of these things can win or be around in the next 3 years, and you're all just here for number go up. Okay, but I'm not even having that conversation because our prices are so low. They're so low. Okay, so we're quite a while ago. Now, if we go look at meth, friends, meth is really ready to go here. I just want to show you something, okay? I'm going to show a fractal later. Blockchain backer, he has a fractal where we go up only. But the thing is, Ethereum actually goes down to 4,200 first. And then it goes up, okay? It goes down and does this. So if it actually happens and it's repeating, it's a Bitcoin fractal from the past. I'm just going to show you that because I saw it and I'm like, oh man, that's going to be annoying. That's going to be annoying. We're like, start off September. Oh man, that'd be funny if that actually happens. And it would be actually interesting because that chart would mean we dump off at the end of August into September. And that would mark, and if our September actually goes up, that's because we start low, right? If we start low and we go up, that's why September could finish green. But if that happens, that'll mark 3 years in a row. That's 2023, 2024, 2025. If that happens, where the market adapted. Everyone saw that there were 5 or 6 red Septembers in a row. September's always bad. And so what they started doing is they started selling off at the end of August because they don't want to hold through September. But they sold it off at the end of August. Now we start low. So September just goes up, right? A couple of percentage points. So that would be it would be funny if that's actually what ends up playing out, because right now it's happened twice. And we all know September's trash, friends. Even Jim Cramer, Inverse Oracle God, he says everyone knows September every year is awful, you know? So here we have the BTC dominance, friends. Bitcoin dominance is around 58%. Just showing you, remember, friends, it's a ratio, yeah? It's a ratio of Bitcoin to the altcoins, right? So when this goes lower, that's a risk off part, yeah? We want to see altcoins hopefully crank. I'm still hoping for a double bubble alt season. I'm still hoping we draw a line here. We have alt season wave 1. Everyone thinks it's over. And then a surprise alt season wave 2 happens. That's what. And yeah, it is just hope. What am I going off? I don't know, man. Like, just a couple of things. Like, we had a double bubble Bitcoin season in 2021, right? And, you know, before that, it was a double bubble altcoin season in 2017. So I'm just thinking maybe it's going to switch again. That's why, fans, I have a lot of things. You know, the president launches a meme coin. Kanye West launches a meme coin on behalf of Israel. Oh man, just the guy spent like a decade talking about Jews, and then he rugs his meme coin. It peaks out in 35 minutes. It's just, oh man, the irony, friends. You can't write these into a movie because they just go for so long. You can't, man. The irony of this and what we're going through, man. Crypto, man, it's the greatest. This is the greatest industry. Hopefully it goes up to justify it, right? Because right now it's great and making everybody poor, right? Now, Bitcoin, still nice on the weekly. The weekly super trend, friends, still green. I draw this circle because I want to remind you, remember, friends, everyone sold down here. You name a major KOL, they sold. They got turbo bullish up here. So just a reminder, you know, we remember all these moments because, friends, remember, so many people. Okay, actually, KOLs are like a lot of followers, man. You'll be surprised. Big names. I don't want to call them out, but man, they'd make snarky comments like, "Oh, this guy is stupid. He's always bullish. He's always bullish." And they're literally selling down here. "Oh, I'm always bullish." I didn't care about them. Reputation, zero. Okay, you're literally. Do you think the guy who pegs his own nipples on the internet gives a shit about your reputation? Reputation. Because friends, this is the thing. Okay, it's like, okay, you are at a beauty pageant contest, but you're not the prettiest girl, you know. So you need good reputation. You got to feed the people who are voting. Maybe you help sponsor the place. You know what I mean? Okay, that's what they're doing. They don't know how to buy low and sell high. They don't know how to do that. They know how to buy high, buy on momentum, and then tell everybody else about it so they can sell a bit higher. They know that game, or they know how to get VC token unlocks and be part of the schedule. They know that game. They call it networking skill, which is okay, but that's a game for them. Okay, they're always going to succeed. Yeah, but how are they succeeding? They succeed because it's a big fat pyramid distribution. It's asymmetric downside where everybody gets cucked. Yeah, the top 1 to 10 win. The bottom 9,999, actually more than that. They've got a million followers. Yeah, the top 10 win. The bottom literally million lose because they're getting it all stacked. Yeah, but that's what you need. You have to convince a lot of people to basically be your yield farm. Because I know you don't think about it like that, but it's true, man. If you're watching people, oh, that person's got a good reputation, and I'm gonna follow their coins. If you're just always gonna be, you are their yield farm. Yeah, they don't need to buy low. Okay, they don't actually need to buy low at all. They just need to have a voice just to convince you that they have a good reputation. Now, let's crack on through, friends. The business cycle, obviously, we're waiting for September 3rd for the print for the business ISM. But remember, it's going to be backwards looking. So it's probably going to be good. Why? Because I've got to show you the racist Russell 2000. Is he racist? Yes. Still very, very racist. It is starting to tick up. You see that, friends? It's had a higher close, a higher high on the close on the daily. So it's cranking on through. It's pretty good. One of the baby dolls in my Telegram showed us that it's up like 2 or 3% for the day. That's good. It's moving towards its highs. It's only, 3% away from its all-time high. And this is like a measure of, in real time, right? The ISM, manufacturing and stuff out here moving, because it's all the business cycle. It's all related. We're all correlated. And it's just one of the only indexes that hasn't pushed up yet. This is the global liquidity fractal. And I've left the blue line. This is actually METH. Ethereum is, funny enough, following the blue line more than Bitcoin, which it'd just be funny, friends, if Ethereum goes up. The Ethereum price on the left. So that'll be Ethereum at 5,900 by the end of in the next few weeks. So wow, I'm going to show you, friends. We're going to go through and just remember that number. So I'm expecting over 5,500 for Ethereum in the next few weeks. Now what we're going to do, let's look at some blockchain backup fractals. Where are we? Look at this. This is, friends, where this is the Bitcoin fractal, the one I keep showing. We made this lower low. Okay, so we don't know. Are we still in this box? Okay, are we still in that box where the next part is up only explosion and then go down only? And this up only explosion is actually trash. It would imply Bitcoin 130K and then it comes all the way back down. That's what it would look like. Don't know, right? But that seems to be what the path it's been following. Yeah, remember, any of these things can deviate and stuff out here. But, like, if that happens, so what? Okay, oh, wow, we get one more green monthly others BTC candle. I'm not getting out. I don't care. But look, I know, man, you got to be careful that these like the stubbornness doesn't take you to your death. It's true. It can happen, right? Because you're walking a fine line. Like, hey, do you have conviction or do you adapt? Do you have conviction or do you adapt? Okay. And trust me, it's very convincing both ways. That's why market's always up and down. Oh, no, I'm convicted. No, I'm adapting now. I've got to sell this low to do that, right? Because people would rationalize it. No, I've got to adapt. And you can always pull out any example. They're like, oh, imagine you sold the low of the gold BTC ratio 10 years ago. You would have thought it's really, really, really low, but they kept going lower, right? Because Bitcoin kept going up. Give you an example. So this is an Ethereum fractal that we can see following the Bitcoin daily chart. This was the zombie virus. We had our own similar zombie virus. So we're moving around this extension here, which is around the all-time high. And then hopefully the next part is literally just an up only, and we move up to the 5,000 to 7,000 $. Zone. Something interesting I want to show you as well. If we go and look at the Ethereum close-up. Remember, friends, I just showed you. We have, look at this on the right. This is Ethereum now going down to this 4,200. Everyone thinks it's over in the next few days, and then we go up. That would be us selling off into the September and then having an up-only September, where everybody front runs to September now because we're in August. So where do you get that from? It's like Bitcoin's early fractal. from before. I remember this. This was 2023 when everyone thought it was over here. I remember there was an evil scam scum who broke the low with Bitcoin down here using their Bitcoin. I remember that. I'll never forget that. Oh man, over that weekend. I don't know if you guys remember. They literally, I remember Blockchain Backer says, if we break below $25,000, it's over. It's pretty much over. And some evil scum out there, some piece of trash manipulator, they got their Bitcoin. I still remember we saw it move on chain and they sent it to some exchanges and they just smashed it down. And they smashed it below 25K. But guess what it did? I think it literally stopped at like 24,800 for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then it came back up. Yeah, and then it literally came back up. So there's these evil trash scum, but that's the mind of a market, you know what I mean? So like, on one hand, I hate them and I want to choke them. That's one hand. On the other hand, I want to caress them and pat them. Why? Because they are our price discovery on the way up. Okay, so these evil scum who smack things down, that's the volatility, right? So, you can't, it's a yin and yang. You need that. You need that, right? Whenever there's sun, cast a shadow, right? That's another way to look at it. So we need them on the upside. When things are just breaking up and there's a big level and everyone's like, oh, because that's what happens. But these big momentum traders, friends, like when we go to a big round number and we go and we tap it, like these are the people, like they get really hungry. They love the thought of like putting on a lot of size, keeping it tight stop and just seeing how far it can go. They play for those moments because they're not buying low and then waiting a long time and doing it, right? So we need them. We need them on the upside. Something I want to show you as well, which is quite alarming. This is gold's price, friends. So Blockchain Backer believes because of the giant 5-wave euphoria of gold, it's going to have like one little last pop up, and he thinks it's going to have this big correction back down to like 2,400 where it comes back here. It's very similar. This is what the zombie virus did. The zombie virus collapse for the S&P 500 did as well. Just comes back down. And I know it looks like a big move actually, but from 3,500 to 2,400, that's actually huge for gold. It's like a 30% drop. I wonder what it would be. Some sort of big fat capitulation thing. Man, that would be wild if like at the bottom of this news, we find out, oh, the US government, they're like using Bitcoin instead of gold to do this some transaction thing. And then people just like smash gold out. That'll be interesting. I wonder how that's going to play out. That's, I think, for next year. So we'll see. Now, baby dolls, do you remember I showed you Ethereum? We're like, well, we might sell off at the end of this month, August, only a few days left. And then we might move up in September because everybody's front run the Rektember. And we might head on to 5,500. Well, Charlie is going to have a few words about what he thinks Ethereum is going to.
Okay, last question for you, Tom. I can hear your Slack's going off. You got to get out of here. Really appreciate the time that you spent on the channel. It means a lot. Price targets for end of year for Ethereum and the S&P 500 and your logic for those two.
Yeah, I think Ethereum, in the near term, 5,500 should be happening in the next couple of weeks. But by the end of the year, I think it should be closer to 10 to 12,000 for ETH. But it's because most of the move in crypto does come in the fourth quarter. So if you're up 35% year to date, well, if you're going to be up 200%, it's going to all happen in the next few months. And for the S&P, if the Fed follows through and begins to cut, which is our expectation, and then we get a drop in mortgage rates and the ISM turning up, and therefore financials really begin to participate, I think that's why we get to 6,800 or so on the S&P. So still a lot of upside. Of course, as you know, September is the month everyone's going to be worried about. So that's a month where you might get a pullback, but you need to be buying that tip.
So the seasonal weakness in September, you would say, would just be another opportunity.
Yes, that's right. And, as you know, every pullback, everyone has been ringing the bell saying it's the top. That has always been a dip buying opportunity since 2022. So
there you go, friends. He does expect, right, $5,500 Ethereum to come. Now, I know, okay, if you're new to this, right, friends, you see when you're an artist, friends, if you go look up Picasso and these squares and these circles, you're like, dude, this looks like absolute dog shit. What is this? Okay, because you don't understand like art. You know what I mean? You got to be like in art, dude. Okay, well, in markets, the game, you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. Okay, like in poker, right? When you're playing some cards, Okay? So in markets, what we talk about is context. Timely coming out with a big target, you might say, but Summy, you've seen so many other people. There's been like literally 20 major people, and the guy will be like, $1 million Bitcoin's coming, or like, you know, or this thing's going up. And I'm like, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. That's like concerning, probably going to go down now. Why is it now when Timely comes out? Why is it when it comes out? I'm about to tell you something. I think his targets are going to hit. But then there's going to be one of them that doesn't. Okay, I think he's going to go on a roll because this is what happened, friends. I think he's the chosen one. Yeah, I think he's the chosen one. Now, also, why I'm just going to tell you something. I shared him a tweet. He liked this tweet where someone made of him, where he's a Christian man and he goes to church, Timely, and like he says he's God fearing, and he really hits Middle America. And I'm seeing, I know, friends, what I'm about to tell you, it's like I'm here 18 hours a day. You know what I mean? So he reminds me of like, you know, he's like, there's Nick Fuentes, you know, that young kid, Nick Fuentes, right? With his, always, I think he's on Rumble, don't know where he is. You know what I mean? He gets spicy and stuff. He's meant to be like, Nick Fuentes, friends, is, okay, you know, Donald Trump, MAGA is for millennials, I guess, anywhere age from like, you know, 30 to 50-ish. They're like MAGA, yeah. Nick Fuentes is, you know, the 30 down to 15 for Zoomers. He's like the Zoomer kids, Donald Trump, right? And Nick Fuentes used to like Donald Trump, and then as he got older, he started to say, wait, you're actually just for Israel and stuff out here. But I'll tell you how this story ends. Maybe Nick Fuentes makes it all the way to the top. And guess what? Those Zoomer kids, they're going to go with him, just like Trump. And then on the Zoomer, we have this, I'm not making this up. The generation on the Zoomer, they're called Generation Beta. We're so screwed. You bunch of beta males. We named the whole generation beta. My gosh. So yeah, they're going to be under Nick Fuentes. So when Nick Fuentes is like 50 to 60 years old, you know, 30 years, his age bracket, they've all grown up with him, you know, and then and what'll be boomer then is like Donald Trump supporters, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk. That'll be like ancient boomer stuff, and they're like the middle America part, the middle age part, and then there'll be the new kids coming out. So it's pretty much, yeah, it's a pendulum that swings and it's a cycle. Well, Tom Lee, friends, Tom Lee, he's a representation of the Nick Fuentes, but older bracket, so millennial to Generation X. Okay, and it emerges stocks. Okay, so I'm just showing you. I can see this. I can see this psychological makeup, the type of person that likes him, right? And so I can feel. I know this is just. I know. Once I don't have any statistics or anything. I can feel the energy about Charlie is different. Okay, the energy is different. I feel like he's the perfect representation. Like he doesn't try too hard. He's nice. He's sweet, and he's freaking turbo boys, and his targets eventually hit, right? So I feel like there's going to be an aura about him, an actual aura. I know everyone says aura as a meme word. No, I think there's an actual angelic type of like moonshot, Satoshi, Vitalik. There's a grand aura about him. You know, Michael Saylor style. You know, Michael Chad Saylor style. So this is a bit different, high flying, okay? Because he actually puts targets. Michael Saylor is just like, there is no sell target. This thing's going to trillions of dollars. You know what I mean? That's really Evangelion type of like, you know, die hard like that. Tom Lee's not like that. Tom Lee's got targets, uses trend lines. It's a bit more volatile. It's a bit like he's in the trenches more. You know what I mean? And even Tom Lee, when he speaks about AI and things, Tom knows the difference between words of generation. Like, for example, you know the words, it's funny, friends. You know the word grifter? Yeah, that's like for Zoomers and millennials. We use that word, yeah, our age bracket. Older people, so I guess like if you're going above 50, they don't use the word grifter. Grifting, I don't want to say it was standard practice, but like to them it's just like, oh, that's just how it works, you know? Or it's, that's just, you know, there's always been a middleman somewhere. Right now, if I wanted to take it, if let's say you want to do a transaction on crypto in a wallet, and I'm like, hey, how much you want to send? $100,000? Okay, give me $1,000 and then I'll send it for you. Okay, that used to be the norm. You just had to pay for middleman services. Yeah, but now we use the word grifter. Right? We're like, no, you're grifting. You're basically sitting in the middle doing nothing on purpose when you could be doing better. But for everyone in the older generation, because you didn't have as much tech and all this informational stuff to really know it, they just had to adapt, and it was their way of life. So he understands that, right? That's why I'm telling you his aura, Tom Lee's aura is different. And what I mean by that specifically as well, let's get what can we actually translate, to the charts from this? I feel like, how Tom says 5,000. Yeah, I think something's gonna happen, right? And then he's gonna be like, oh, we're going to 10, and then that's gonna hit as well. But eventually he's gonna have a target too big, okay? And that one won't get hit. But why I'm saying he's got an aura is what I mean by that is, first his targets have to get hit first, and they have to build a crowd. Yeah, maybe target 1 gets hit, target 2 gets hit, target 3 gets hit, target 4 doesn't hit. That's a big trap. You know what I mean? But we wait for these big moments because if you can see this coming, you know where you are in the cycle. You know what I mean? So moving on, friends. PulseChain's BetterBank exploiter has concluded the orchestrated FUD narrative. Okay, so in a shock move, what's happened? I've got to do some breaking news and stuff later on. In a shock move, the exploiter was nicknamed the BetterBank exploiter. He took like $1 billion pDAI, I think, 1 billion. He dumped a couple of $100 million. He sent back 550 million. And the pDAI price recovered as soon as that happened. We were all watching this wallet, and we were like, oh man, it's going to be a long time. He's going to be dumping the crap out of this one. So he G'd down here, 2 slaps, and it's come back. It came back up to here. Now it's come back down to a little reversal point. But yeah, this is just a 1 hour chart. I mean, if we just go back and look at the dailies, yeah, it's hanging around here. I don't know what happens next. Just a big volatility wiki. So it just looks like one of the standard big, huge, see these big wicks as well? Big wick. Feels like with pDAI, man, whenever there's wicks, they're like always has been an opportunity. This one wasn't a real wick. But yeah, man, every time there's these big, giant slap outs, enormous slap outs. So let me know what you think. Do you think it was orchestrated? Do you think it was, oh no, do you think it was totally random? I'm going to have another coverage episode out here, friends. Like, I'll tell you right now, look, I'll be nice. I can't say names because there's too many names. But some people, friends, I'm getting random messages and tags on Telegrams and even Twitter and says, oh, Somi, look at this. And I click. I can't see that person's post. I've had them muted. And I'll click on through and I'm like, oh, I'm saddened. You know who you all are. I'm like, man, I used to like all your posts, because I was liking all your posts before, and then you turn like really, really, really angry, salty, negative against me just because of I liked pDAI. At the bottom, by the way, where's my thank you? Where's my thank you? I don't want one. But where's my thank you? Okay? They're turning really, really, really salty and angry, and I just have to go on a big muting. I just keep muting because I'm like looking at wrong. Even when I said, hey, kind person, you are wrong, and this is why, or I think it's still a good bet. It didn't matter, right? It's funny, man. Even after the price goes up, they still think they're right. Right? This is the funniest part. Like after the price goes up, literally 1,000%. I didn't even use Gravestone Emoji Day. You want me to? Let's play it real. From Gravestone Emoji Day, after the thing goes up 2,800%, like they still think they are correct. Like, you know what? God bless you. You're what makes this world go round. You know what I mean? Like you're the top buyer that's gonna discover higher prices, like in every coin I'm in all of them. You're the one who you're gonna realize, oh crap, you're missing something. You didn't listen to the 5,000 videos of StableCoin SuperCycle and everything else coming. We need yous out here. But yeah, friends, those are the people. They're now all those people who are messaging me. I'm like, hey, I had that person muted. I'll check the timestamps. A lot of the messages. Okay, this is what's happening. They would write big essays and big anti-Somi stuff here. Once again, they're just bottoms. They're just literally like, if it's like we've been through this before. Like you did the exact same thing all the way down here. Friends, the amount, do you know how sad it was? Every time I'd watch a PulseChain KOL, okay, if they spoke about me negative, they're like, oh, what a sad. I was like, I'm thinking, no, bro, be sad for yourself. Be sad for yourself. You're the one who sold the bottom, but no one believed. No one believed that then, but we believed. So, and now they're like, oh no, it's one guy moving. I know, we're going to go through the whole Wall Street cheat sheet all over again. So there's been some insight as to how this orchestrated FUD thing has come out. Because I know if you're at home, if you're not in that arena and you're watching it, you're probably thinking, because I would be thinking this too. You're like, wait a minute, sorry, they said it was going to zero, it went down, and then it went up 2,800%. Why aren't all those thousands and thousands of people? Why have they not said, okay, I will now admit I am wrong and I will now buy in? Why haven't they actually done that? Welcome to markets, man. Look, people just don't think a price is cheap until it rallies a certain point. What basically the market just told me is these people, they don't think pDAI is cheap under 1 cent. They think pDAI is going to be cheap at 10 cents because there's probably going to be news that comes out. Like they're going to see a random wallet put $800 million of Ethereum outside in the outskirts and bond liquidity with something, and not peg or anything, but like hint that it's going to do something. So once again, believe a cycle. See, I'm getting in before such a move happens. I don't know if a move will happen. I'm just getting in before I believe. You get it? They need to see it. Like I said, friends, they are the Apostle Thomas, okay? Apostle Thomas, the disciples of Jesus. Remember, after Jesus resurrects, okay, there was people here, the disciples, they believed, but Thomas, when Jesus was literally walking around, okay, Thomas was like, Jesus comes out, he's like, hey, Thomas, what's up, bro? And Thomas was like, no, you can't be. Jesus is dead. I don't believe you. And then he says, hey, give me a finger. And he gets him to put his finger in his wound. He actually gets to touch his wound. And then Thomas like breaks down. He's like, ah! He just has like this terror. He's like, oh my gosh. Like, yes, you needed to actually touch it. You needed to actually put your hand on it and see it. Okay, well, it's like you still believe, I guess you're all right here, but like you needed to go that far, right? Not everyone needs to do that. I mean, friends, do you know of a little coin called Bitcoin? Yeah, some people held it because they thought maybe it's going to end up on BlackRock's balance sheet one day. But when that price was $100, $1,000, even $5,000, right? They didn't need to see BlackRock saying, okay, we're putting it on our balance sheet now, and now it's 48,000, which is the Bitcoin spot ETF. You see what I mean? Tether, friends, have minted 1 billion USDT. Big news. They continue to mint more stable coins. That's because they're all getting calls from, all these institutions that want to buy crypto. So they need to put it in there, which is just a direct bank deposit that increases the market cap for all of crypto. Rex Osprey has filed for a BNB staking ETF with the SEC. So I think logically, BNB, friends, has just gone up only. It's very, very defensively up only. Because they have the buy and burn. They have a hit. That's what people don't know. They have a hidden buy and burn from the exchange. I don't think they announced it. Maybe if you're in the weeds, maybe if there's like esoteric, Binance knowledge. But they do. Remember, friends, they're making fees of all the coins. So every coin that gets traded, your fees go and you go buy. You're buying BNB. But they don't like actively hit market all the time. They have a big reserve. They use it as a defensive play in the bear market. Okay, so they create a floor. So they don't like to hit market and make it go up, but if the bear market happens and it goes all the way down, they leave a big, thick bid. So that's why BNB's BTC ratios go up, because Bitcoin's capitulating, but BNB has big, giant, thick walls, right? And I think that's going to get the next ETF. It just makes sense to it. It's a unicorn. It's close to exchanges, but hopefully we get an ETF for everything. As I mentioned before, friends, Tom Lee predicts Ethereum 5,500 in the next few weeks and between 10 to 12K for the end of the year. That's great. Remember, friends, he believes that Ethereum could flip Bitcoin, and he says Bitcoin's going to $1 million. So then he said, yeah, that puts Ethereum 200 to 350,000. He says the number 360,000, right? More stablecoin SuperCycle stuff. MasterCard and Circle expand partnership to enable USDC to the Euro coin settlement across EMEA. All right. Now, more stablecoin SuperCycle. One thing, friends, I love when Ivan jokes. I had no idea. On LinkedIn, he says apparently there's all these like just normie bots who are on LinkedIn and they write these essays about how much they love stablecoins. And they write, oh, stablecoins, they're amazing, enabling the future of payments. And then they hate crypto though. Yeah, they hate crypto. They're like, no, Bitcoin, Ethereum, no, too junky. No, stable coins are amazing. It's like, oh man, friends, these are, you got to love them at some point because these are just bootlickers. You know what I mean? Now, obviously don't love them because you don't want to like adopt their philosophy, but if you ever end up as a dictator of a country, they're first in line for you. They're the people who like, Kim Jong-un goes around and they're like, oh, I love Kim Jong-un. I love him so much. And they go home and they're like, Kim Jong-un. Oh, but I love him so much. They're like, they're the bootlickers. They're good for the cameras, right? It's very, very hard to find someone who's like that. I know they have no soul, or that they don't stand for anything, but it is still hard to find someone who really stands for absolutely nothing like that. Some people call them useful idiots. Coinbase has jumped to third in NFT trading with $47 million over the past 30 days. I found this interesting, friends. So I've got this table here for you. And why it's interesting is it shows me the volume of NFTs by chain. I was always curious, how much are NFTs trading? On Ethereum, it's still 400 million. Polygon is 60 million, okay? You know what, friend? I'm actually a bit shocked right now. I'm gonna have to unpeg and then repeg my nipples here because Soylana is only 12 million. Very interesting. It's only 12 million. Now you might say, but show me. There's the trenches there, and there's JPEG coins and stuff out here. Yeah, you don't get it. You don't get it because if a chain is like just naturally worth a big amount of money, what you'll see is the ratios of its NFTs and its meme coins, right, relative to the layer 1 and its DEX volume, they're all around the same levels. Yeah, it's kind of like cities of it's exactly actually like cities of nations. Yeah, so like a 5 million person city, you might say has like one hospital every like 30 people, and it's the same thing for America, for Canada, for somewhere in Europe. You know what I mean? Like little things like that, like structures of a city, right? And so that you would think that, but Soylana just have very, very low. You know what's funny, friends? I mean, like the fees for Ethereum are higher, and look how much bigger it is. I'm wondering if this maybe there's just wrong data or something. So that's why I'm always looking. Is there something we're missing? But it's interesting, man. Like if you add up, friends, if you add up Ethereum, Polygon, and Base, that's pretty much Ethereum, right? That is pretty much 500 million, and Solana's only 10 million. That's just 2% of the volume, huh? You know what? I wonder. I wonder what happens, if there is a resurgence of NFTs. Is that like an indicator showing like, hey, Soylana, the token's trying to tick up, but the NFTs are dead? It's an interesting data point. Right? You probably want to have a look as well here at the Soy ETH ratio. Soy ETH, friends, remember. Crypto Banter drew this. Now, I drew this first, and then that happened, and I thought, well, that happened. But then when I started to see everyone else holding Soylana draw it, I'm like, okay, just got to be honest. Yeah, it never works out nice when every single person is drawing that. Okay, so what happens here? Okay, so I thought maybe it comes up here, lower, high, ETF, and whatever. But because they've all drawn that, I wonder if it does like a faster shoot up. And then it comes back down. I wonder. How do I know this? Because I've held a lot of things. Okay. So just to tell you, friends, I'm not master predictor. It's I've basically just been bitch slapped and destroyed so many times that I remember these. I remember looking out for that hope. Like, oh, maybe it's gonna turn. All these people have a line going up as well, right? All these other people, and then yeah, it doesn't work out. And I just want to remind you as well. This cycle, look, man, of course, friends, if you buy a third cycle coin, yeah, one of them was Doge. Yeah, Doge did a 200x. But the others, there was Doge and the others pooped, okay? Yeah, so 1 out of 20, okay? If with Soy, it's consensus, okay? Undoubtedly, it's still consensus, okay? Ethereum ran up 250%, and everyone in crypto is still shitting on it. And they're just talking about Soy. Every KOL is talking about Soy. Okay, so it's still consensus. This cycle has been exceptionally brutal to consensus so far. It's just, so it's something to think about. Also, something funny I wanted to show you. Blockchain Backer, I want to show you he's got a Soylana chart here. And if it hits up here, man, it's just a 3x. It's literally a 3x. So like, but friends, a lot of these people, they have big bags, so a lot of people they're really, really happy with a $600 soy. They're very, very happy, right? But getting in from here, like it's 200 to 600. Okay. So, and here's another thing, right? Not everything is going to hit these big extensions. Not everything is. Because this is how I know. All the layer ones, if they all hit their big extensions, look, this could happen. I hope it happens. It means there's a freaking Altseason on every single chain. Now, I really, really hope it happens. And you know what? You know, this might be the cycle for it. But if all the layer ones hit their extensions, there's an Altseason everywhere. Can we really have that, though? The Altseason gets dispersed because cabals form and they have to rinse all the dumb retailers. When you have, you know, 1,000 dumb emotional retailers who are like just sucking toes of the LA Vape Corp, when you have 1,000 of them on every chain, it's not effective, okay? How they all make money is you grab all 50 sets of them, you put 50,000 of them on one chain, and that's where everything happens. It's a power law distribution. That's what happens. So we'll see how it all resolves, I guess. We'll just wait. More news, friends. MetaMask integrated SOL domains, allowing users to send, receive, and use Soylana simple nicknames. So they're just allowing you with the addresses. Just be careful with MetaMask, friends. It's such a trash wallet. Yeah, I have it. You got to use that and Rabby and internet money. You just have to use multiple, okay? Just please be careful. Please avoid stuff on your phone. There's just many ways you can get hacked. Separate your wallets. Be careful. CoinTelegraph gets euphoric over a 5% move of Soylana. Yeah, it's actually true. I didn't make that up. Literally, CoinTelegraph. That's literally CoinTelegraph going, 5% move. 5% move. But that's because the CoinTelegraph is consensus. Yeah. They are bullish on Bitcoin, and then they're bullish on only one altcoin, Soylana. So literally consensus. That's just God bless you. You know what I mean? Like, hope it works out. Hope it works out. MetaPlanet raising 837 million to buy more BTC. That is a whopper of a number. I don't think it's going to do anything though. They're trying to run this move forever. What we can do is quickly check out MicroStrategy's as well, friends. I like looking at the NAV. MicroStrategy's NAV is 1.38 down here. You can see this. 1.38 for the NAV. And you also have MetaPlanet. Remember, MetaPlanet used to trade at a 5. You know, they used to trade at a 5. And now we go find them. Let's see what NAV they trade out. Clicked on Meta. Now they're at 1.999. Okay, so we'll see. We'll see. They probably just had a bit of a spike up because, oh, we're going to raise more money to do stuff. Like, they're just leveraged long BTC. That's it. You're leveraged long BTC. You're paying out yield as a portion of however much Bitcoin goes up. That's what you're doing. Yeah. And then their mind, they're like, oh, and that's good because Bitcoin's going to go up forever. Look, bro, I got Bitcoin. I'm bullish on crypto. I need it to go up forever, like you. I'm just telling you, we know in history, in every boom cycle, whenever people need something to go up forever, it always ends one freaking way. Always. It ends in a poopy disaster. Hopefully, we're nowhere near that. And the people who are going to ultimately get trapped with that, hopefully they're still climbing and they're going to get the big cabooses later on. Don't forget, he loves you, friends. Where are we going next? Let's see. Rektember. Like, subscribe, belly button, all. Catch you soon.